One of the best ways to arrive in Istanbul is by a cruise ship, which will introduce you the wonderful skyline of the only bi-continental city in the world. Istanbul, Turkey, Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, Vancouver in British Columbia, Canada, and San Francisco of the US of A are usually referred to as the top 4 cities in the world, which are regarded most scenic by those cruise passengers. However, Istanbul's historical background surpasses the others by some 400,000 years. While trying to cope with this historical baggage, the natives of Istanbul today are busy trying to complete a massive facelift to numerous historical edifices, and this is incredibly expensive, by the way, so that the future visitors will remember the year 2010, when Istanbul will be the cultural capital of Europe. 2,000 local ferries every day zigzag between the 2 continents, over Asia where the sun rises, and over Europe where she sets, along with 137 ocean-going liners passing through the Bosphorus, including cargo ships, oil tankers, and cruise ships, along with navy boats. Daily constitutes Bosphorus the busiest strait in the world, approximately 3 times as busy as the Panama Canal. Despite the damaging tools of time and history, Istanbul served as the capital city of 3 world empires: the Byzantine, the Roman, and the Ottoman, where her natives enjoyed religious tolerance amongst the 3 Abrahamic faiths. 675 BC, foundation of Chalcedon, the Asiatic city of the blind people. 658 BC, foundation of Byzantium by Bizas over the Seraglio Peninsula, first of the 7 European hills. 330 AD, foundation of Constantinople by Constantine the Great, a new Christian capital. 392 AD, Christianity became the state religion of the Roman Empire. 395 AD, Roman Empire was split into 2 by Theodosius between his 2 sons, Arcadius and Honorius, and Constantinople became the capital of the Roman Empire. 476 AD, Rome was captured by Odoacer, and Constantinople remained as the sole capital of the Romans for almost 1,000 years. 1453, Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II conquered the city and changed her name to Istanbul, and she then became the Ottoman capital city until the end of the Ottoman state in 1923. When Atatürk declared the new Turkish state, Ankara was then announced as the new capital of our republic. The Hippodrome of Constantinople was the center of attraction, meaning a square for horse riding. It was built in the 2nd century AD by the earlier Roman Emperor Septimus Severus and was enlarged by Constantine the Great in the 4th century AD. When the city was inaugurated on the 11th of May 330 AD, the size of the new hippodrome was 480 meters long by 150 meters and could hold 50,000 people. Shaped like a U structure for chariot and horse races, they were also holding acrobatic shows as well as wild animal fights. In this hippodrome, the famous riot Nike took place in 532 AD, which is when, in one afternoon, some 30,000 people were killed. The activities continued during the days of the Ottoman Empire, but in time it became an interesting exhibition area with the following edifices. At the northern end of the Hippodrome today lies the German fountain, built and completed in the year 1899, and was inaugurated when Kaiser Wilhelm II visited Istanbul. His birthday was on the 27th of January 1901, when he came for the inaugural ceremony with 8 medallions inside, forming monograms of both the Kaiser of Germany and the Ottoman Sultan Abdülhamid II. This is German gold mosaics with beautiful marble from Germany at the top end of today's Hippodrome. And next we move on to the Theodosius obelisk, which is 25 meters high and weighs 200 tons. It's made of pink granite and it was mined in Aswan in southern Egypt. Thutmose III was the pharaoh in the 15th century before Christ, and this was standing during his reign in front of the Karnak temple in Luxor, Egypt. It was brought here during the reign of Theodosius, the emperor of Constantinople, in 390 AD, and the governor at the time was Proclus, with the help of hundreds of slaves with beautiful marble baths. It was erected on top of this beautiful base in 32 days. Over this obelisk base we can see the family of Theodosius, his wife and 2 sons, Arcadius and Honorius, and the high officials are watching the games as a state propaganda. Along the Hippodrome, in between the 2 obelisks, lies the Serpentine Column, which represents the Greek victory over the Persians in the Battle of Plataea dating back to 479 BC. They had melted all the bronze weapons of minor destruction in a pot, as then they built these 3 winding snakes holding the pot at the top. The 3 snake heads have been lost. In our times, only 1 upper jaw still remains in the Archaeological Museum of Istanbul. This was brought here from the Temple of Apollo in Delphi in the 4th century AD as a decoration to the Hippodrome. At the southern end of the Hippodrome, where my University of Tourism and Economics today stands, right in front of it is the famous walled obelisk, an imitation obelisk which rises some 32 meters in height, and it was covered with bronze shields which were taken away by the 4th Crusades in the 13th century and were minted into coins in Venice. Some people think this dates back to the 10th century AD. However, we have proof that both obelisks were here in the 4th century AD as well.